YouTube Market Monday. We got a bunch of stuff to go over, but first, the content schedule for this week. Collector Series Team Captain release number 2. Let's head quickly on over into MUT, show you guys that content from today. Collector Series, honestly, it's been very I would say, the past few weeks. Denzel Ward is a damn good card, but he's an LTD, so he's gonna run you, 1.3, 1.5 mil, but he's 5'11", got 87 speed, does have that flat zone KO, you Browns Theme Team fans, if you want him. Yeah, he has released in-game. And then for your champions, DJ Reader and Russell Wilson are those two players for this week. DJ Reader's a D-tackle. I don't rate a card like this too highly, but usually the MUT community keeps the D-tackle market a bit expensive, so I would say he holds his price pretty well. And then Russell Wilson, kind of a do-it-all quarterback, nothing really exceptional from a throw power and accuracy, a speed threshold rating, you would say, but nothing, that's really bad. He doesn't really have a ton of weaknesses from his card. So, if you're Seahawks theme team, Broncos theme team, Giants theme team, maybe Russell Wilson is your quarterback. But those are your 3 Collector Series cards this week. Team Captain is actually probably the bigger drop, I would say, today, as you can now get these cards up to an 86 overall from an 80. I think it was an 84 overall they were at before today. My Keeps to Leave 87 is boosted, but My Keeps to Leave, that was the card that I went to. You can get him all the way up to 87 speed stock. He was originally at, I believe, 80. Was it 85? I think it was 85 speed he was at. So he got a +2 speed boost. Yeah, +2 speed boost from when he was at 84 overall. Maybe it might have just been +1. Either way, Keeps to Leave now is a really good corner, especially if you have those crystal cards to get the +1 speed boost on those cards, or to give to all cards with all 32 team chems. Really good cards there. Greg Olsen now, very comparable to the Brock Bowers. He gets up to 83 speed stock, and of course, all 32 team chems on him. So yeah, he's essentially the same card as the Brock Bowers, that is still going for, I believe, at least 1 million coins in the block. So Greg Olsen now, really viable. Could argue the best tight end in the game now. I haven't looked too much at AJ Hawk, Alex Mack, Geno Atkins. I know Michael Crabtree gets up to 86 speed, I want to believe now, at 86 overall. Yeah, 86 speed on this card. Also got some decent height, 6'1", and of course all 32 team chems. So you really can pick which guy you want to make a, a superhero, you would say, on your team. I'm going for corner right now, but I actually might switch to Greg Olsen if that Evan Ingram isn't up. Or Evan Ingram, we'll get into Evan Ingram, but Evan Ingram set to come out this week. We don't know what his speed's at yet, but Greg Olsen might be my tight end 1 as we get later on in the week. Back to the content schedule. Team of the week, week 1, MCS Kickoff Challenge. That is Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. You're going to have to watch for a total of 2 hours to get the 87 overall Kyle Hamilton. Usually these MCS cards have really good speed ratings, really good abilities, and I would expect nothing more than from this Kyle Hamilton card. Should be really one of the best safeties in the game. We're getting a lot of good safeties this week, I'd say, and even last week. So safety position is not one that is lacking at the current moment. Make sure you have all your stuff linked, and that is on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then, of course, Game Time Release 2 and Legends on Thursday and Saturday. The official reveal for Game Time Release 2 will be during the MCS broadcast. That will be Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Now getting into MUT Leaks, we have the Game Time Part 2 champions. Now there's actually one champion here that we don't know, because if you guys are unaware about the Game Time content, these champions are going to play each other in real life, their teams, right? We have a Colt, a Bronco, a Raider, a Charger, a Bill. The team that's missing there is a Jets player. The Jets play the Bills on Sunday, so we will be getting a Jets champion. Just, we don't know who it is, but here, unless they pull Joey Bosa from this drop, but Charvarius Ward corner, Evan Ingram tight end, Ashton Jeanty running back, and then safety Derwin James. And again, if their team wins on Sunday, they will get a +1 speed rating to their card permanently. We haven't gotten them for Part 1 yet, but I would assume they come in the next few days. But those are your Part 2 champions. Some really good cards. Of course, the Game Time theme team, in my opinion, is like the best overall theme team right now in the game, and they're now adding, even more champions to that squad. As for LTDs, we've got Levante David, 88 overall. We also are going to be getting a Texan LTD because the Buccaneers play the Texans. Is it on? It might be the Monday night game, but Sunday, Monday night game. I don't know what it is. I think actually the Chargers Raiders might be the Monday night game. But Buccaneers and the Texans play, so we will be getting a Texan LTD, so potentially, Derek Stingley, CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, As for the Jets, right, Sauce Gardner, Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, Quinton Williams, just showing some names out there for those teams. But yeah, you can expect there's a champion and an LTD that have yet to be revealed unless they just scrap the Joey Bosa from the champions for Game Time Part 2. The only other real bit of information we've gotten from MUT Leaks this week, or going into this week's content, Redux Fantasy Pack. Now, this isn't going to happen this week. I would fully expect that to drop at some point next week after Season 2 launches. Of course, that is Wednesday of next week. We'll probably actually get it on the content schedule, so we'll know the exact day when we get that Redux Fantasy Pack. And actually, speaking of Reduxes, as we go into MUT now, because I have Pat Surtain, the Crystal LTD, still a pretty penny on the auction house, and honestly, rightfully so, as he gives +1 speed to, you know, if your theme team, whatever you're running. My plan with him is to sell him off at some point this weekend. You know, there is a bit of that panic. He was actually a bit cheaper earlier today. There's a bit of that panic sell right when that initial announcement of, hey, Reduxes are coming to the game. And 86 overall LTDs have dropped a bit today. So my plan, wait till this weekend, wait till that demand, especially with MCS ladders this weekend. I'm sure Surtain will be really, really high demand this weekend. And, you know, I'm going to play my games and probably sell them off Sunday night after I'm done there. And we'll see. Honestly, we've seen in the past a few years that these super expensive LTDs, their Reduxes might not always be super cheap when they get Redux initially. But I will say one thing is that there aren't a ton of 86 overall LTDs. I believe there's 20 total, right? Not counting Nolan Smith, not counting Devon Achane. Yeah, so actually, I don't know if Nolan Smith Jr. is going to get Redux, but as it stands, there's like 21 total 86 overall LTDs. So there's not, you know, a crazy amount, and especially with that Redux Fantasy Pack, choose 1 of 3. Surtain should be, you know, somewhat pullable, I would say, in that pack. I don't think he's going to be, like, affordable 500k, 600k, but I think he'll probably still be in the million coins, probably low millions if I had to guess, because he still is very important in the game, giving +1 speed. We'll see also, we don't even know if he's going to give the crystal boost on the card. I would assume he would, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's my plan for, like, the Reduxes, and if you have any of the 86 over LTDs, I would still wait until this weekend. Probably sell, because again, there's a bit of panic right now all across all the cards with that announcement. But let's go over all the ways people are making coins right now in MUT 26. I want to try to address really all areas of the game, and let's start out with sets. Sets are the bread and butter. They're probably the best way to make coins strictly through using the market, no matter what coin count you're at, especially if you're at a lower coin count amount. Now, my thing with sets, what I look for in sets, I actually don't want to go after the newest sets, right? The 87 overall Game Time champion. I'm not really that interested in that, because more people are going to be focused on that market, sniping the 84 overalls. You know, even the 87 overall champions are going to get bought and sold very frequently. You know, there might not be a lot of room there to make profit. I actually am a big fan of looking at older sets in the game. Now, I will say, as a content creator, I know this firsthand. If I say 82 overall Team of the Week Elite Fantasy Pack set is really good, you should go out and right now and do it. You make a lot of coins. Probably will be ruined for the next 24 hours. So I gotta bite my tongue a bit on things. But I will say, over this past weekend, you know, the 86 overall Team of the Week set was pretty good for me if I could eventually find it. Keaton Mitchell on Saturday spiked up a ton in price because Ed Reed made the Ravens theme team a bit better. Keaton Mitchell was going for like 350, 400k. And you were able to really build it for like 250k. So that's something to be looking at. Again, didn't really look at the 86 overall, I would say, Collector Series over the past week. But the 85 overall Signature Series, Collector Series, whatever you want to call it, pretty decent. Wyatt Teller usually holds his value pretty well over the weekend. I always am going to mention the weekend because that's kind of like the peak time or the peak prices for a lot of these cards, and that's really when you want to do these sets. Team Builders historically has been really good with making coins, but I'll admit right now the 85 Team Builder set as well as the 82 overall Team Builder set. 82 overall, I actually can't speak too much because I haven't looked into it as much. But the 85 overall Team Builder set, not really that great. 82 overalls right now are a bit inflated due to a few different sets. They're like they pretty much don't go under 30k, and so it makes the 85 overall Team Builder set like 150k. Fortunately, there really isn't a Team Builder 85 overall that goes for more than like 170, so that's not really worth it at the current moment. But Team Builders, you know, usually throughout the year are some of the best sets to make coins on. Legends-wise, I'm not really looking at 87s or 86s too much, just because there's only 2 cards to choose from each of those sets. 85 overall Legends, though, not too bad, right? They still have Jeremy Shockey, Warren Sapp, Steve Hutchinson, you know, cards that still go for a Marquise Pouncey that still go for like around 200,000 coins. Will they still hold their value over this weekend? I don't know. Jeremy Shockey probably loses a bit of value with that Evan Ingram coming out. And then preseason standouts, I think Montez Sweat still goes for a little bit. Not too much. The 84-85 Elite Player Exchange was really popular early on last week. I don't know if I could say it's great right now just because you're having to pay 120k. Every time you pull an 84, you're going to be losing, 20 to 30k. You're really going after and chasing those high-end 85 overalls, the 85 overall Crystal players, right? Lamar Jackson, any of the champions to go for 200k. But it's really, I would say, hit or miss. It's a bit of a gamble, but could be a gamble that could pay off for a lot of people. Shameless plug real quick, just because we're on the topic of sets, but Coin Bubble members, if you are unaware, some people are seriously unaware of this, but we have an automatic set finder kind of dashboard in our Coin Bible on MUT. We'll give you updates every hour, and we'll give you the best sets to do to make profit. We'll also give you the optimal sell-off player, although you still probably want to look up that player just to make sure they're going for the most, per that individual set champion. But it's just a tool, another tool. Whether you have the Coin Bible, whether you don't, sets are really, really good for making coins when you're first starting out. As for gameplay, right, events, CPU, solo challenges, of course, the weekly spotlight program. In my opinion, this has probably been the best overall change I've seen from MUT this year. If you are not doing your objectives every week, if you're not playing your solos every week and getting your weekly spotlight tokens, I believe now you can get 2 total champions. I'm building up to my second one right now. I don't know what I'm going to use it on this week. I probably will end up going with the Team of the Week card, just because I will need it at least for this weekend MCS. But, potentially holding on to those weekly spotlight tokens until like Season 2, 88 overalls is probably the move, but really just comes down to what you want for your team. As for events, I'll be honest, the CPU events the past few weeks have not been very good. Ever since we got that ultimate there, the ultimate kickoff, or not, it wasn't ultimate kickoff. What was the first pregame access, right? The pregame access CPU event was awesome. You were able to make like 45k in 45 minutes plus, right? With the potential of getting 100k, 150k for some really good gold pulls. But over the past few weeks, I'll be honest, these game time CPU events, the CPU events they've released, they're just not. I don't think they're really worth your time. You just get a lot of these 76 plus 78 overall BND. You don't get, a crazy amount of coins. I wouldn't really say any of the CPU events have been worth it the past few weeks. Maybe that changes upcoming, but as of right now, like the game time CPU events, really, really underwhelming. Head-to-head events also, I will admit, I don't know if I prefer the Campus Hero one where you had to go 9-0 one time. Because it was pretty hard considering it was overtime rules, college overtime rules, that is. But this showcase event right now, you essentially have to go 5-0 5 times. So 25-0 altogether. Not straight, but 25 wins, no losses over the course of time. And you're going to get a sellable game time champion and a few other 82, 84 overall cards. Overall, it's okay, right? It's like 25 wins. You're going to get around like 600, 700k coins worth. Is that crazy good? No. I would still recommend to anybody, play head-to-head seasons, right? If you're in the, especially if you're in the Legend Division, I would say, you get around 300k for going, what, 8-0 over the course of a season. That still is better on a win per coin ratio, you would say, than the head-to-head event out right now. Ranked, I will forever tell people that ranked is like the worst thing you could do with your time if you're looking to like make coins by playing head-to-head. Yeah, it's not. Actually, where do I go for? No, I just passed the ranked. You'll notice I have not played one damn game of ranked. Will I play it when it comes closer to the season time? Yes, I will just get whatever the next closest top 100 is. I don't want to go there. I think it's called Champion. It's like 3,200, 2,800 is the RP points. I'll get that eventually, but ranked, just because you don't get coins as you're just like kind of playing, right? People have been grinding ranked. I mean, we just go to the top 100 leaderboards. And I actually have cross playoffs, so I only have Xbox, right? Like the minimum win total is 80 wins, and we still have 25 days until this expires. So if you want to get top 100, you're probably going to have to give at least 150, 175 wins. Essentially, it's just like play as much as you can and you're going to get top 100. I can't recommend it for those that aren't going to get top 100. You're playing a ton of games for, say, BND reward. I'd much rather you take that time and effort, play seasons, get liquid coins, and then, those liquid coins can last you throughout the entire year. Whereas one B&D card, yes, will be a relevant card for the initial time being, yes, but after a month, after 2 months, that card is not going to be on your team. That card then is going to hold 0 value. Whereas coins, right, you use throughout the year. So I will forever say in every video, anybody that asks me, don't waste your time playing ranked. Play head-to-head seasons. It's not the best way all time to make coins, but right now it's the best way. It's the best time being spent to get your points. As for other market-related news and notes, I would say really the only thing I would say to talk about, 84 overalls, right? The talk of the town. They've been the most successful investment over this past week. They went from 80,000 coins Tuesday, Wednesday to 120,000 coins on Thursday when Game Time Part 1 did release. Will 84 overalls go up that much this week? I don't know, but they're not at that 80k mark they were at last week. They're at around 100,000 coins. So for me personally, they'd have to go down probably a little bit for me to start buying. I don't really feel like it'd be that comfortable paying 100k for an 84 overall, because that'd be 500k for the set. Do I think the champions go for 500k? Probably, but if you want to make profit investing in 84s, right, and you're buying them at 100k, you would really need the champions to go for 650, 625k plus for it to be a worthwhile investment. And that's really, really expensive. I would say Travis Hunter this past week, right at his peak, yeah, he was going for 650k. The other 3 champions did not go for 650k. And then really after the first hour or two, Travis Hunter fell to like the mid 500s. Really has stayed there for the time being. Of course, they still have not gotten their +1 speed rating, at least not that I'm aware of. Let's check Travis Hunter real quick. No, still has not gotten that +1 speed rating. So we'll see. Maybe they give it to him tomorrow. Maybe they give it to him when Game Time Part 2 releases. We'll see when that boost does come into effect. As for other market-related stuff, there's really not too much to talk about. I would say, hopefully you guys kind of followed along that train of thought. And this is really the train of thought every single week, is that in the middle of the week, if you guys are looking to make upgrades for your team, I guess you could say this is the first week where we haven't had an overall boost in a few weeks. So we kind of have some consistency amongst the market. If you're wanting to pick up cards for your team, forever will say, right, your best days to do that Tuesday night, especially Wednesday evening, Thursday morning when that big concert, right, when Team of the Week releases, when Game Time Part 2 releases. If you're going to want any 85, 86, 87 overall champions, you need to get them then. Do not wait for the weekend. If you want to buy extra of these cards, you do it on Wednesday, on Thursday, and then you sell off over the course of the weekend. That's why I mentioned during sets, right, the sell-off, the peak, their peak prices are always over the course of the weekend. But yeah, if you want to make upgrades for your team, definitely be on the lookout Wednesday evening, Team of the Week, Thursday morning, when Game Time content does release. But I think that's a bit for Market Monday. I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. September, we're kind of in this, I wouldn't say rut, but we're just going to be in this kind of consistent content grind for the next few weeks until we get a few curveballs, until like most feared that kind of holiday content season initially hits us, and then MUT seems to get a bit more momentum then. But that's all for Market Monday this week. I will see you guys all next time. Peace.